Good afternoon. I'm Clarissa Mendez, and today we will be going over the Walt Disney Company. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to provide you with a complete strategic plan that hopefully you'll find valuable based on the information we have gathered and will choose to continue working with us. First off, I would like to present our team of consultants. We have Barbara Delgado, Jade Fodrell, Aiden Shaw, and Jamal Wasimi. You will have the chance to meet each of them throughout this presentation. During this presentation, we will first go over a company overview in which we will discuss your company's mission statement and key company takeaways that we found. Secondly, we will provide an industry analysis in which we will go over the strategic group cycle, pestle analysis, Porter's five forces, and the industry life cycle. Third, we will go over the company strategy, value proposition, revenue model, value chain, and competitive advantage. Fourth, we will provide our financial analysis. And lastly, we will go over some recommendations we believe will be best for the company, as well as the pros and cons of choosing to go with these. Let's start off with your mission statement. To entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make this the world's premier entertainment company. Your main objectives as an established company include becoming a leading streaming service provider, providing consumers with unique and invaluable experiences, and providing customers with a variety of programming. Your success and influence of the company is invaluable, and we hope that through this presentation, you will find tools that will help you continue to grow and offer customers the experience Disney is known to offer. The most relevant takeaways we found include that nearly half of Disney profits come from its TV networks such as ESPN and ABC. This is a huge portion of their profits, so we found this to be an important aspect to discuss because of the steady decrease in consumers continuing to pay for cable subscriptions. This also ties to having to compete with other successful streaming services such as Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon, and many more. Another concerning issue we found was the need for more original and creative content. Since Disney is known for its creativity, we found it important since the most recently successful movies and shows produced have been acquired from already existing productions. Now we will begin our industry analysis. We want to go over the streaming services industry since cable TV is on a low and such a large part of your company's profits. We found it important to understand this industry before going into any recommendations to improve. This industry has a growth of 24.8% from 2015 to 2020. Because of consumers cutting the cord, companies have felt obligated to shift to direct-to-consumer strategies where they stream both original and licensed content. Video streaming generates revenues through paid subscriptions, video on demand transactions, and paid advertising. Some companies that hold the largest market share include Netflix Inc., Alphabet Inc., the Walt Disney Company, and Amazon Inc. Now I will pass it on to my colleague Barbara, where she will continue to go over the industry analysis.
Thank you so much, Clarissa, for giving us that brief introduction to the case. I will now be talking about the strategic group map. I will speak on the strategic groupings in a few moments, but first I will go over a few details on the biggest players in the industry. Netflix is the largest streaming service in the United States with 67 million subscribers in Q4 of 2019. Amazon Prime Video is second to Netflix with 53.3 million paid subscribers at the end of 2019. By December of 2019, Disney Plus reached 26.5 million subscribers. To put this in perspective, Disney Plus had been recently released in November 12, 2019. This is huge growth for any company, but seems feasible when you take into account Walt Disney Company's long-standing history, reputation, and strong branding in the entertainment sector. Now taking a look at the map, companies such as Hulu, Apple TV Plus, ESPN Plus can be grouped together due to their similarities in pricing and their content being more narrow in breadth. Stars and Showtime offer more distinct, narrow product offerings with a higher price tag. This is similar to HBO Max, except it has slightly more content breadth, but a steeper price tag at $14.99 a month. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and YouTube Premium are similar in their broad content choices and similar pricing models, so they can be grouped together. Netflix and Amazon Prime Video are the largest players in the industry with identical pricing models. $12.99 is for Netflix's basic subscription, and Amazon Prime includes Prime Video with its shipping subscription service. YouTube Premium is slightly cheaper at $11.99 a month, but it includes YouTube Music as well as access to millions more uninterrupted video content choices. The amount of US subscribers by the end of 2019 is annotated by the size of the circles of each company. Netflix led with 67 million subscribers, followed by Amazon Prime Video with 53.3 million. HBO and HBO Max have a combined of 34.6 million, Apple TV Plus with 33.6 million, Hulu with 30.4 million, Disney Plus with 26.5 million, YouTube Premium with 20 million, Stars with 19.9 million, Showtime with 11.2 million, and ESPN Plus ends it off with 3.5 million. Now moving on to the industry life cycle, we see that ESPN Plus and Disney Plus are fairly new and are considered to be in the growth stage, approaching the shakeout stage. The growth stage is hugely profitable, and expanding and prolonging this stage with a healthy growth strategy is a critical objective for companies like Disney. As previously mentioned, the video streaming services industry had a growth of 24.8% from 2015 to 2020. The growth stage is not all roses, though. There are a large amount of competitors impacting market share, and this then drives down prices and shrinks profit margins. That's why it's important for companies like Hulu, Disney Plus, Showtime, Stars, and various other streaming services to differentiate their content outside of price alone. It is important to note, while new streaming services are in the introduction and growth stages, the market originator, Netflix, has actually reached maturity and is at its saturation point. Now, moving on to Porter's 5 forces, we take a look at risk of entry. The risk of entry is moderate. Most competitors have entered the market, but are still fairly new entrants when compared to the market originator, Netflix. That being said, there are many competitors in the industry that act as an entry barrier. These competitors are also long-established networks with economies of scale that are migrating to video streaming service as consumers in the cable industry begin to thin out. With that also comes an established brand loyalty to a service that makes it more difficult for new competitors to capture unless they're also an established entertainment company with strong branding like the Walt Disney Company. Entry is still possible as we continue to see more networks create their own streaming service to gain market share in this growing industry to keep up with changing trends in entertainment viewing. The bargaining power of buyers is also moderate. The majority of a video streaming service's revenue is dependent on subscribers. There is little to no switching costs between video streaming suppliers, and buyers can pit companies against one another if they are unhappy with the quality and service. That being said, the industry is already competitively priced and consumers cannot change it very much. Suppliers use tactics such as bundling other service into its price point to reduce power of buyers and stay competitive with substitutes. The threat of substitutes is strong. There are many alternatives consumers can choose when deciding on a video streaming service. Most streaming substitutes satisfy similar customer needs. This limits the price that companies like Hulu, Stars, Apple TV Plus, and others can charge for their product. Theaters, plays, drive-ins, and other forms of entertainment are substitutes for streaming services like Disney Plus, as they satisfy the need for customers to relax, unwind, and simply be entertained by themselves or with a group. The bargaining power of suppliers is weak because content production has many suppliers, and if said firm is unhappy with its supplier of content, it can simply look for a new producer, executive, actors, etc., whatever they need. Industry costs are not reliant on the suppliers. Rivalry among established firms is weak. So Netflix dominates the industry as the market originator, but has no real established rival. Prime Video comes close with its pricing, but its content is very selective, with more popular choices in movies or shows having to be paid for apart from the subscription price. Analysts believe that Disney's entrance into the industry will begin to form a rivalry, or at least be the strongest competitor Netflix has seen so far. The power of complement providers is strong. Bundling one video streaming service with another or with a complement, such as a music streaming service, has become somewhat popular, and buyers can get more services they normally use for a special reduced price. An example of this is Spotify Premium subscription that also includes Hulu and Showtime. Disney has also done this with bundling Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu for a reduced price of $12.99. Each video streaming service is somewhat of a complement to one another, as no two subscription services are the same in terms of content offered. This allows customers to pick and choose what fits best with their entertainment style. Cable packages are also a complement provider to video streaming services. Most cable packages do not have everything a customer is wanting, so they turn to video streaming subscriptions now and add the content they lack for a smaller price. While this form of complement is still creating value for customers, it is important to note that more households are beginning to cut the cord and turn to video streaming services. Now moving on to our pestle analysis. P, political. Disney engages in a variety of corporate strategies such as full ownership, joint ventures, alliances, and long-term contracts. Also, with it operating in 45 countries, the profits from merchandise, park tickets, and food, as well as others, is limited. E, economic. Economically, half of Disney's profits come from its TV networks such as ESPN and ABC. However, the cost of rights to show big sporting events live has increased significantly. Also, Disney's economic growth for their new streaming service, Disney Plus, is affected by aggressively low prices offered by its competitors such as Apple TV Plus that charges $5 a month. Social. Socially, because of the acquirement of so many outside companies, consumers can begin to question Disney's lack of originality, which is something that Disney is known for. There has also been a significant decline in consumers who continue to have cable and are instead switching to other options. Technological. With the decrease in cable subscriptions, there is a continuous growth in streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Apple TV Plus. This has caused many networks to come up with their own streaming services and increase competition within this industry. Because of this competitive environment, all streaming services are constantly adding features or advantages to outperform competitors. Legal. Disney is allowed to acquire a limited number of companies, even though most of its greatest franchises were external acquisitions: Marvel, Pixar, Lucasfilm Productions, and Environment. Disney's streaming service has over 13,500 employees with operations across 45 countries. I will now be passing it over to Aiden so he can discuss Walt Disney's company analysis with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Barbara. I am Aiden here. I'm going to be doing the company analysis today. So we're first going to look at the company strategy. And so what we notice with Disney is that they have three main strategies that they focus on, which is creative content, which is also technological innovation, and international expansion. So they have a high profile acquisition strategy, which means that they're going to make a big movie hit, which is like Lilo and Stitch or one of the bigger movies they have. And then they're going to make little things off of this, where they're going to do TV shows, they're going to do theme park rides on this, they're going to do video games, they're going to do toys, and they're clothing. So they're going to take a big movie hit and have a lot more revenue streams off of that. So when we look at the company analysis here, we're going to do it in the magic triangle here. So we're going to look at who, which is basically their customer segment, which is going to be focusing on the whole family. So it's going to be really anyone from the ages of 4 to 80. So anyone who really is a kid at heart. That's Disney's overall market. They want people that are young in heart. So you could be young and you could be old and still love their movies. So what they do is they are a media and entertainment through various sources, like stated earlier, how they have a movie and then they're going to have various other sources from that. How they do it? Well, they do it with a large customer base, and they've grown so big that they have such a loyal brand recognition that they're taking about 50% of the media market currently. And how they're going to bring value is that their highest quality creative entertainment, their Disney, I mean, their movies are probably the highest of quality in creative entertainment today. So now looking at the value proposition here, we can see that they obviously really put an emphasis on creating high quality creative content, like stated earlier. So the creative expression in Disney is the key to their success. They basically are a powerhouse because of how creative their minds are and how well the animations are in the movies and how much they touch the people watching it. And then they go on to the technological innovation here, where it's kind of what keeps Disney able to gain a competitive advantage because they're always innovating. They're always knowing what the new tech is, how they can integrate it, and how really what they can do to take advantage and stay ahead of the game. And then last and finally is happiness and well-being for families. So like I said earlier, their main customers are people who are young at heart. So at the end of the day, making the customer happy is Disney's goal. So then if we go ahead and look over here into the value chain, and we're going to look at the primary activities, inbound logistics, they are going to create these high quality inputs to offer high quality content, which is the movies and entertainment. Then they're obviously going to do the operations, which is the media studio and experiences here. Then the outbound logistics, which would be quality management, creativity, and innovation. Then from there, they're going to do their brand recognition and marketing. They're going to have their media. And since they have about 50% of the market, they're really advertising through themselves. So it's a lot of word of mouth and overall just brand loyalty. Then looking at their customer service, you can see that they have a very, very high quality customer service because it's online and in person. They're going to make sure that the customer is happy at the end of the day. So they're going to create a high quality experience. So looking at these secondary activities here, you can see the procurement. So their strategic sourcing is amazing. They obviously are doing the right thing. So they have good supplier relationships and really good overall procurement. So then looking at their R&D, I mean, their innovation of new products is seeming to happen every year. They have something new, a new ride or something. So they're really growing and making sure that they're going to innovate correctly. Then they're also going to be buying smaller companies within the specific markets because they see a market growing. They're going to buy it and make sure that they have a piece of the pie when it starts growing. Then looking at their H&R, obviously they have a strong brand name, like we stated before. They also have great customers and employee loyalty, which means that since Disney is such a great company that the people that work for them love it and the people that want to watch and use Disney products also love it. So they're going to keep coming back and they're going to have this strong brand recognition. Then looking at their infrastructure, we can see that their CEOs and management really have strong trust in their employees, and through the business, they're going to make sure that the general managers and the managers have this vision of creativity throughout the whole business, which is going to get them to thrive at the end of the day. Then we're going to look at their revenue models here. So Exhibit A here, 5A here, we can see that the total revenues within Disney is about $60 billion. And you can see right here with this bigger graph, about 50% is the media networks here with $25 billion. And they have their studio entertainment and their parks and resorts. Then looking at Exhibit B, you can really just see their net income from this. So they're making about 50% here from the media networks. They're making about $7 billion from just the media itself. So that's why we chose to really specify in this zone, just because it's about 50% of the market. Then looking at their competitor analysis, we kind of looked at more of the media brands because this was the biggest market they were taking over. So we saw that there was Netflix, obviously, with about 20%, NBC at about 10%, Amazon with a bigger because of Amazon Prime and all of the different ways that Amazon can also have that sort of competitive analysis looking into them. And then Warner Media with 25%. So looking at how Disney really gains this competitive advantage, you can see that just overall their brand recognition and how well of a company they are and how established they already have been. So if we're going to look at their tangible resources, we can see that their products are different. So they have product differentiation. So they have Disneyland, they have Disney World, they have all these special movies that only really Disney has. So they have unique products across all the segments because of this. Then they're going to diversify all their media channels because they have ESPN, ABC, NBC. So they're really thriving off of this and able to really conquer each little part of the market, which is going to give them the most revenue. That's why it's 50%. Then just the overall experience of Disney. If you've been to Disneyland, you know what I'm talking about. Then this is the intangible stuff that you get with them. They're the innovators, they're the leaders in the media industry. They kind of run what they want to run, and other people in the industry are going to follow them. So they're a big leader, and that really sets them apart because they're not looking to compete, they're looking to lead. So they, like we've stated before, they have a really, really great, unique brand recognition. And then comes along with that is a collection of IP. So they're gonna have a lot of intellectual property that is just with Disney, and it's gonna give them a lot of competitive advantage. I'm gonna pass this over to Jade today. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiden, for that in-depth company analysis. We will now move into the examination of your finances, where we will take a look at your most important ratios, indicate areas of improvement, as well as discuss viable options moving forward. Starting with your liquidity ratios, you currently hold a current ratio of 0.93 and a quick ratio of 0.90. We would like to see these numbers rise to 1 or greater, which would signify that all debts can be paid off immediately if needed. Next, we take a look at your leverage ratios. We see that you have a debt to equity ratio of 0.45. This number signifies that less than half of your financing is taken on from debt, and is very attractive compared to competitors such as Netflix, who currently hold a debt to equity ratio of about 3. Disney also holds a total debt to asset ratio of 0.29, which currently leads the pack amongst competitors, as you will see in this graph. To the far right in the green bubble, we have Walt Disney, who shares most of the market cap as well as holds a low debt to asset ratio, indicating that most of Disney's assets were not acquired through debt, or that Disney has paid off a significant amount of them, about roughly 70%. Now, moving into the profitability ratios, I would like to highlight the significant decrease in return on equity, return on investment, and return on assets in the first quarter of 2020 from just the prior year. These numbers are quite alarming, as they have seen a dramatic fall of 75%, 73%, and 80% respectively. As your consultant team, we want to bring attention to these numbers because of the concern it brings to your current and even potential investors. We believe that Disney's acquisition-led growth strategy is not financially healthy in the long run. And with Disney owning so many media companies, we believe that there is a significant amount of cannibalization going on across the many business units and divisions. In order to improve these numbers, we believe it in your best interest to sell some of your assets, particularly the YouTube-based network, Maker Studios, that you acquired in 2014 for $0.675 billion. Selling Maker Studios, we believe, will free up some of the money tied up and help improve these ratios and make investors more likely to invest in you. Additionally, we see it in your best interest to let go of some of the underperforming, money-guzzling theme parks. In particular, we believe that Walt Disney Studio Park in Paris should be let go of, as it has not been received well. Instead, we would like to see that money be reinvested into Disneyland Florida and the Epcot Center, or into a theme park in South America, particularly Argentina, where you currently have a division. Now, moving forward, this graph indicates areas of revenue streams from different regions across the world. As you can see, the portion in blue resembles the United States and has roughly been about the same over the years, over about 10 years. And areas of improvement, or where we see a big market for, is in Latin America, as previously mentioned. And we believe that theme park in Argentina would be very beneficial and very suitable for the Walt Disney Company versus the Paris theme park. Next, I have developed a pro forma income statement using the financials from 2018 and 2019 to help forecast our projections for the year 2020. And if we are to capitalize and reinvest in emerging markets such as Argentina, and also bring back that creativity and originality of Walt Disney, as well as position ourselves as dominant streaming service platform across the globe and move away from cable television, we believe that Walt Disney Company will see growth in the coming years. From the data collected, we are able to see that with a shift in pursuits, Walt Disney can reemerge itself as its pioneering creators of the world, and to develop its streaming services and movie production globally to win control of some of that market currently being held by one of the primary competitors, that is Netflix. Disney is loved around the world, and with many assets it owns, such as ESPN and Hulu Plus, and the many different movie production companies, Disney can utilize these assets on a global scale and increase profits. Thank you. Now I'll pass it on to Jamal, who will be going over the 3 recommendations that we see fit for you, the Walt Disney Company.
Thank you, Jay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamal Wasimi, and today I'm going to talk about some recommendations that we think Disney should implement. Now, our consulting team believes that Disney can take 3 different routes, and after briefly mentioning all 3, I'll explain as to why we thought that's the best route for Disney. Our first recommendation is for Disney to shift its acquisition-led growth strategy to an original content creation strategy. Our second recommendation is for Disney to foster innovation and utilize new technologies such as AR and VR. And lastly, we recommend that Disney should acquire a new streaming market globally. Now, our consulting team believes that Disney has been focusing on branding, which has caused displeasure among fans who have felt that excessive branding is done when you lack original, high-quality content. Therefore, we believe that Disney should shift from acquisition-led growth strategy to an original content creation. This will lead to a growing portfolio and the creation of content that will please fans and attract new subscribers. Our second recommendation is our consulting team believes Disney should implement is to foster innovation and utilize new technologies such as VR and AR. Now, we believe that this pairs the company's strategy in expanding creativity and technology innovation. With technology consistently evolving, we believe it's important for Disney to implement this as it will reach a new audience that stays up to date with technology. We believe this can help attract more consumers and improve the overall brand image of Disney. Ultimately, our consulting team believes that Disney's best route is to acquire a new streaming market globally. We believe that this strategy aligns with the company's goals in attracting a new audience and gaining more subscribers. In just a moment, I'll go over the pros and cons of implementing this strategy. Now, the pros of implementing this strategy is the cost of producing a Bollywood movie is a fraction of one from Hollywood. A small budget film in India ranges anywhere between 200,000 to $1 million, and a huge budget movie anywhere from 4 million or more. They also have a better quality. They can also reach a broader audience and bring creative storylines that are different from US. Now, the cons are there's a cultural barrier. Implementing of a foreign company culture value will take some time for consumers to adjust to. And lastly, the transitioning cost of expanding into a new market may be a little heavy at first, but it's still, our pros outweighs the cons, and we believe that this is the best route it can take. Now, if we look on the current projection, Netflix currently leads the suppression due to high foreign-made movies on their streaming service. We believe that Disney can increase their subscribers by capturing new market. In the next slide, I'll briefly explain on how Disney can go about achieving this strategy. This is a data from KPMG, and it shows the current contribution made by Indian films overseas. Currently, US leads it by 32.5%, followed by Middle East, 31%, and UK, 15.5%, respectively. Now, we believe that these are some of the markets that Disney can acquire if they work alongside a company called Reliance, which is a Bollywood company who are currently looking to Hollywood to expand their portfolio and create a new genre of crossover cinema. Now, we believe that this is the best route for Disney to take. Before we wrap it up, our consultancy believe that Disney should align with strategy recommendation 3. We believe that this will help increase the number of subscribers and lead to a growth in your portfolio. This will bring us to the end of the presentation. I want to thank Disney for listening to us today and hiring us as their consulting team. Today, we got to hear Clarissa speak about the company's overview, followed by Barbara speaking about the industry analysis. We also got to hear Aiden speak about the company analysis, followed by Jade speaking on the financial analysis. And we ended the presentation on me talking about our recommendations. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. If you have any questions, please visit the discussion board and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have for us. Thank you and have a great day.